Welcome back to Second Breakfast and our ongoing film discussions, bringing you the best thoughts, theories, and literary analysis this side of the Sevastopol Podgova MacGuffin machine.
There are a lot of Russian words in this movie. And
there are.
They worked really hard to make sure we knew what all of them meant.
So we're talking about Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. We've seen it a few times in theaters, including the IMAX experience, which is a hoot and a half.
I highly recommend. So fun.
The film is so much fun. It's great. It's huge. It's bombastic. The stunts are incredible. You can't breathe for minutes at a time.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost 3 hours. It's big and convoluted, and it connects back to every other entry in the franchise. It is a big labored swan song. It is Return of the King with 58 different endings. It's the actors who keep coming out and taking more bows.
Yeah.
It's big and huge and unwieldy, and I loved every minute of it.
Sure, me too.
But
oh boy,
the ending, and this is we're basically talking about one element instead of doing a whole hour-long thing.
Sure,
there's just one thing we need to talk about with this movie, because the rest of it's great. Go see it; it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time in the movies. Yeah,
but I think this stuck in both of our craws, our collective craw.
Okay,
does the ending of the film break the movie?
Yeah, I kind of think it does. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about,
I am. So let me lay this out. Ethan Hunt has been fighting the Entity, which is an AI thing with a big blue eyeball, for the past 2 movies.
Huge fan of this direction. Love it.
Me too. AI bad. But he
bad.
He gets the poison pill, and that traps it in the thing, and it looks like we've defeated the Entity.
Right.
And then at the very end of the movie, spoilers, I guess, you have the whole team show up in some square in England,
in London,
to smile at each other and walk away.
Yep.
And they hand Ethan
scene.
the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, which he opens, and it glows yellow. And then we see that it contains the special glowing USB drive that Luther made before he died.
Right, the 5D drive.
Which contains the Entity.
Right.
So they're giving the Entity to Ethan.
Yes. I'm so confused.
Yeah, so that's
confused.
the end. It leaves the movie on a very strange note. And again, we've seen this twice. We've had weeks to think about this. I think it kind of breaks the movie.
And here's what I'm really not getting, right? Is the whole point has been we have to destroy the Entity. Yeah. And Luther's poison pill will destroy it. So if they put the poison...
It'll lock it in the thing.
If they put I thought it was that it would destroy it.
If it destroyed it, there wouldn't be anything on the USB drive.
Well, this is why I'm confused, because I thought they kept saying we have to destroy the Entity. This is his poison pill. It'll start off this chain reaction thing and destroy it. And so I thought the whole point
I don't think it would be glowing if the Entity was dead.
Well,
inside.
That's what I'm saying. I thought the whole point was if you put the poison pill in the Podkova, which contains the Entity's original source code, they really wanted me to get this. This is what I'm telling you. They told us how this works 85 times. It was okay, put the poison pill in the Podkova, which contains the Entity's source material or source code. And then also, if you trap it within this special 5D drive, but through the Podkova somehow, I don't really understand that. Then that will put it in there, and then it will, I guess, destroy itself within the drive. But it didn't destroy itself. It's still...
So I did some Googling.
Lit up. Okay.
I understand the confusion.
Okay.
I did some Googling. I believe, and this is what I've been able to gather, I did a while of trying to figure this out.
None of us understand anything about coding. Is very confusing.
Well, I don't necessarily think that the people who made the movie did either.
No, this is screen accurate for sure.
I think the poison pill is the thing that enabled them to trap and contain the Entity within the USB drive.
Okay. They just keep saying the words destroy the entity, or entity. So that's what I keep thinking they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's within there though. It's still glowing. That's readability on screen.
Well, yeah,
it's still alive.
It's lit up, so it's alive. So why don't
the Entity's not dead.
Right.
But I believe if you spiked it like a football
into
the
just
ground,
put it in the water,
then it would be gone.
Set it on fire, anything.
We have to play with the implications of this. But the fact that we're on the same page here, that at the end of the film, Ethan Hunt is gifted the Entity.
And he walks off with a little grin on his face.
Within the flash drive, yes.
And he's like, I got it. Even though he said a million times, I shouldn't have it. Because even at one point, Haley Atwell's like, we could control it. And that would be great. And he's like, no. And he looks her dead in the eyes and says, no one man should have all that power.
But he doesn't just say, I shouldn't have it. You're right. Okay. We have to, the implications are really important here. So I want to kind of zoom out.
Okay.
The end of the film makes Ethan Hunt the most powerful man alive.
Right.
He is basically a one-man nuclear power.
Right.
He is a secular god who could level...
He could control all 8 nuclear powers.
Yeah. I mean, he could end the world if you want. He's the most dangerous man alive now. But taken further, I mean, the implication, because he is such a good guy in this movie, because he's working for truth and justice in the American way through the whole film, the implication is that it's okay that he has it. And that because he's so virtuous, that yes, there is one man at least in this world
Right.
who could or should control AI.
Right, and it's Ethan.
Which is weird because he himself spends the rest of the film arguing for this thing's unqualified destruction. And like you
Exactly.
said, cautioning Grace away from the idealistic view that anyone on the world exists who could control it.
Right.
And this is where it kind of, I had to go into the archives here. We've been doing this show for 5 years. We've done 500 and something episodes of this. And we started life doing a year and a half of Lord of the Rings coverage. Ethan Hunt getting the glowing yellow entity at the end of this film is very much Frodo deciding to keep the ring in Mount Doom.
Oh, yeah.
And the weird thing is, that is played as a happy ending and a victory where he basically gets it as a party favor after winning the day.
Yeah.
What do you make of that comparison?
That's totally right, because what they should have done is thrown it into the fires of Mount Doom, and they didn't. Like, I don't understand
And
it.
the whole team's on board.
And they're like, yep, we're all happy
There's
and
no
smiling
Samwise
now.
there looking terrified and betrayed.
Yeah, not to be like, Frodo, what are you doing? Destroy it.
It should feel like the end of Lord of the Rings. But it feels like the end of Ocean's 11, where a bunch of friends weirdly hang out silently
Just staring at the Bellagio.
and then part ways. But instead of them feeling relaxed because they all got a bunch of stolen money from casino guys,
Sure.
it's one guy getting the end of the world in a little briefcase.
Just in a briefcase. Yeah, just casually. Yeah, it's very, and it feels so counter to the whole message of these last two movies. It's very strange, and I don't understand what the point of that is.
I want to play devil's advocate here, just to try to see if there's another way to interpret the end of this film.
Sure.
Because I think the arc of this character through these 8 films, and particularly through these last 2 films, is that Ethan Hunt is that guy. He is ultimate good. He is pure idealism in human form. He's most of this movie is people testifying to his magnificence and him begging for more time and people trusting in that altruism.
True, yeah.
So let's grant them that plot point and say he is pure good and he could resist the ring around his neck for the rest of his natural life.
Yeah. But then what?
It's still a bad idea to give him the entity.
Yeah, what? Is he going to be buried with the Elder Wand? You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. That's a great... like, what if he gets robbed? What happens when he dies? There are so many implications here that still make it way too dangerous to keep the end of the world as a fidget toy.
Do you think the idea is that maybe they're trying to keep it a little open-ended in case they want to do more movies? Like, they've said this is the last one, but like, you know... Like, do you know what I'm saying?
But the most they've ever had that level of continuity is having the Sean Harris as the bad guy for 2 films.
Right.
And then this one being a 2-parter. Mm-hmm. It would be weird to suddenly,
and it's
what would
not
it be,
like,
10 years from now, there's a 3rd Reckoning film?
And it's not like they need to keep the same villain to reboot the franchise. You're right. They could make another one with the entity being destroyed. They could have something else that's causing problems, you know?
It's a weird piece to leave on the table at the end of a film in a largely episodic franchise, never mind the last entry nominally of that franchise.
Let me also play some devil's advocate with you. You have to say it like Al Pacino every time. Let me do that with you too, because one complaint I had about the movie was that when he goes into the entity coffin and puts on the headset, the VR entity headset, and they're all like, it'll change you. And he sees all the possibilities of what can happen. My complaint was that after that, he wasn't constantly having struggles of like, what's real, what's not. Am I thinking what the entity wants me to think? Like, he had that in control for the rest of the movie. He was like, no, the entity wants us to do this, so we're going to do that. You know, like, he never really struggled with that. The only thing that was a problem for him was like his fear that his friends would die, right? But so he's like fighting against that, but it really has nothing to do with the entity as an idea. And I was frustrated that he didn't struggle more with that. But maybe the reason that they do that is to prove that he alone is stronger than the entity, and therefore he can hold on to it at the end. I don't know. That's all I can think. Like, nothing else makes sense.
Is that satisfying?
No.
Like, the end of a story?
It's not a good choice, but I'm saying maybe that helps explain why he doesn't struggle with, like, the temptations of the ring, you know?
I guess, but that means there's no drama.
Right. It's not a great story choice.
It's quite a linear film if you look at it compared to Dead Reckoning, which we rewatched before Final Reckoning, and I think it's much better than it got credit for when it came out.
It's quite good, yeah.
And it is much more twisty-turny than this one. If you look at this film, it's basically him trying to accomplish one goal, and that means he has to bop around a bunch of different places and meet some people. But it all kind of follows that plan. The first movie in this little sub-series of Dead Reckoning, there is a lot more misdirection. There is the entity impersonating Benji.
Right.
It's fiddling and interfering with the plan.
Messing with reality.
Much more.
Here they're just like, oh, the whole world is confused, but Ethan Hunt isn't.
But we don't hit that ever again.
No, we really
The beginning
don't.
exposition does the Children of the Atom cult thing, and that never... I mean, there's the one guy on the sub. But it doesn't become a plot point as much as you'd think a doomsday cult would be.
Right.
Yeah, it's strange. I think a lot of ideas for a movie like this.
A lot of ideas.
A big, long, unwieldy film. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, there's a mess there.
It is such a shame because when we saw it the first time, we loved it, but the ending was strange, as we're discussing. And then when we went to see it again, it was like a couple weeks later in IMAX. I was like, okay, maybe I'll, have a better handle on all the complicated elements of the plot here. Maybe I'll, enjoy it more. But the ending was even worse the second time. Like, I felt it so sours it by the end. So I just left thinking, I just have to pretend that last scene isn't in it because it kind of ruins the movie. Because it just doesn't make any sense. It's so counter to what the whole message of the film has been. And I don't know where he's supposed to be going. Like, apart from that messaging being off, it's like, I don't understand it. Like, where is he going? What's he doing? Why are they all smiling in Trafalgar Square, where the fuck they are?
If you look at the entity as a world-ending power, like nuclear weapons, I mean, in a post-Oppenheimer cinematic world, I don't know. I feel like the argument would be that the most virtuous guy in the world would try to get rid of anyone having nuclear power. I don't think the takeaway would be we have to find someone who's virtuous enough to be able to end the world but won't.
Right. The point is that his virtue is what leads him to destroy the thing, not to use it.
Or just sit on it like a cat on the mail.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I mean, again, it's Harry destroys the Elder Wand. They throw the ring into Mount Doom. Like,
you're not supposed to covet the end of the world.
The hero does the right thing in the end and destroys the thing that is too powerful. And I don't know why Ethan doesn't do that.
You don't learn to master it.
Right. It really doesn't make any sense. And I'm really confused by that. I mean, it could have been as simple as they just set it on fire or like break it in half. Like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have to like matter in terms of like how does one destroy an AI like technically. Like, it doesn't matter. It's Mission Impossible. Just break it in half. Who cares? Like, I don't understand why they didn't do that. It's strange.
I know. It's strange. I mean, it's genuinely 30 seconds of a 3-hour movie that kind of
undoes
sours it in my head. And I'm worried that this is going to be the thing. I mean, 20 years from now, you're going to think of the submarine sequence. You're going to think of the biplanes. And you're going to think of this ending, at least for us.
What if we had found out at the end that this movie is sponsored by ChatGPT? That's why they couldn't destroy the AI.
I believe that he's against that stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then why didn't they kill it? I don't understand. Yeah. I don't know. I think I would love for our listeners to theorize.
Please.
Like, because I don't understand.
Is there any other way to read this ending? And do you think it breaks the film? Yeah,
I would love to know what you guys thought because I'm bamboozled by this choice, which is a shame when the movie otherwise was pretty fantastic. It's a great entry in this franchise. We really enjoyed it. So I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts down below. Oh, well, this was fun. If you guys haven't ever seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, they are a delight. We when Dead Reckoning came out, I guess that was last year or the year before, we watched all of the movies in the series because we'd never seen, or I hadn't seen any of them.
Me neither.
It was, okay, I couldn't remember. It was so much fun. They're a delightful time. So even
such a variety too.
And every movie has its problems. They're all kind of quirky in their own way, but they're really enjoyable. So I can't recommend them enough, even with this confusing AI mess that we're in. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, you can like and subscribe and go to our channel and find all kinds of playlists for all kinds of things that we talk about. If you're on a podcast platform, you can, I don't know, know, review it or like it or follow it, or I don't know what they do anymore. Link in bio. Also, we have a Patreon for $2 a month. You can join the Patreon, and for that low price, you are of course supporting the show. But what you'll get is, apart from the satisfaction of supporting us, is 2 bonus episodes every single month, and of course access to the whole back catalog of bonus episodes we've been creating for the past, I don't know, 2.5 years. And there's a lot of stuff to be had and enjoyed over there. We're also in the middle of our Summerween series, where over the course of the summer, we are doing, we're talking about horror movies every single week. So we have 2 episodes every week. One of them is a horror. One of them is one of these. So there's all kinds of stuff for you to enjoy. Also, if you want to support the show in a more fun way, you can check out Cam's latest book, Lemon Tarts in Space. It's a light sci-fi dark comedy. A lot of the same energy as Mission Impossible, actually. It's very fun, very goofy. It's a bit darker and grittier.
Frantic. And action-packed.
But even funnier. It's very, very funny. You can read it as a regular novel in the format of your choice, or you can listen to the fully produced audio drama, which is a really delightful time. The link to purchase that is in the description of
Maggie
the episode.
has a cameo. She's very good.
I do. It's very, very fun. Cam, of course, stars in it, and he's excellent, along with our good friend of the show, Tristan.
Occasional co-host.
Yes. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We'll catch you here in just a few days with another brand new episode.